YouTube, what's going on? Scuba Steve here, and this video right here I'm going to shoot for my man Amazon Joe. Like I told you, a couple videos ago, this tank is going through a little bit of a rescape. You can see I put another piece of driftwood in there, picked that up today. Discus are still in the middle of their I don't know how you call it, parenthood cycle, and I've got myself a 3D rock background that I'm going to be putting in. Still can't figure out how I'm going to do it because they've got some babies that are up there, and then they've taken other ones. They have moved them, basically kind of spit them onto the heater, and so that's where they're at. Got a little bit of a glare. But they're back there on the heater, and so I'm going to have to move the heater to the other side of the tank over here, and put a divider up with some sponge foam around it, so this way I can give them this half of the tank. But Amazon Joe was asking me a question about nitrates in the aquarium, and he didn't really understand how I could keep it the way that I do. So I'm going to take a real quick test, and this is my aquarium's, this is how it looks at the end of the week. You can see it's got algae and it's dirty, and clearly needs to be cleaned. I'll be making up my water for my water change tomorrow. It's water is evaporated. It does under high temperature, but the tank to me is very dirty, needs to be cleaned. So I'm gonna take a quick test of my water with just a regular little swab test kit, and show you what I got as far as my nitrates go. Okay, so just took a quick swab of my water and let it time out, and you can see this is just for quick checks, which these little test kits are really good for. You can see my nitrates are very, very low. Very low. Nitrite 0, water's still soft, KH is low, and my pH is still acidic. I would expect it to rise a little bit because of the algae and the light on, and being this time of day, it will fluctuate a little bit, but as long as it's acidic, I'm good. And that's what these things are good for, is a quick check of the water. But that's what I'm focused on right there for Amazon Joe, and anybody else that's curious how I do it. And of course, like I said, this tank to me is filthy, and it gets that way after about a week. You can see the algae on in there, and then the water evaporates. And now the Cyber Aquarist has a really good set of videos on this, like 3 of them. Just excellent videos, and I would encourage anybody that's wanting to know more about it to just go and check it. But in interest of brevity, I'll say that what you have is in everybody's tank you have a bioload and you have a nitrate creep. And so if you have 25 parts per million, or let's just make it 20, and your nitrates grow at 10 parts per million per week, and you're changing 50% of your water per week, then your water, if it's growing by 10 parts per million, then by the end of the week you're going to be right back to 20 parts per million. So really it's going to look like your nitrates aren't going anywhere. And the way to overcome this is to figure out what your weekly rate of production is as far as your nitrates go. And then once you start getting on top of that, by getting on top of that I mean do more frequent water changes. It's not going to hurt the fish at all. In fact, it's really good for them. But do more frequent water changes in a week or a 2-week period, and eventually, if your nitrate weekly rate of production is 5 to 10 parts per million, then once you've got that cut down to 5, and it goes back to 5 parts per million at the end of the week, then you're down at 10, and then you do another 50% water change, you're right back at 5. So, and that's probably the best way that I can tell you that how I keep my nitrates so low. And guys, Dan Heitshoe, my man over there, he's got some really good videos on nitrates as well. He has some really good information on that stuff, and of course you can always put your comments or questions down below, and I'd be happy to help you, more than happy. But Dan Heitshoe and the Cyber Aquarist have some really good videos on that stuff. I mean, it really is worth it to take the time to sit back and watch it. It can really help you out and further you along in the hobby. And even if you already know about it, you know what? There's always more stuff you can learn. So I'd recommend you check those videos out. I'll leave a link down in the description. And guys, that's how I keep my nitrates wow, you know. That's how I keep my nitrates right there. Okay, really low. And this is at the end of a week for me. And of course I'm feeding these guys beef heart and bloodworms and everything else, so they're getting their regular feedings, you know. Big fatty right there, you know, he's a testament to it. Okay guys, thanks for watching.